Welcome back to What's the Score. We thank you for staying with us. With the NFL back in the saddle, we can never get enough football talk. Now, in the light of Texans' first win of the regular season, we wanted to reach out to you, the fan, to find out what you thought about the win and Texans football overall. Now, on that note, and without further ado, let's turn it over to Bogdan, who's standing by with the one and only Houston Chronicle blogger, Stephanie Stradley.
Thanks, Jason, and you're so right about reaching out to the regular Joe, or in our case today, the regular Texans Chick. Welcome to What's the Score, Stephanie?
It's good to be here.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. It was kind of a short notice, but I mean, there's nothing short about talking about the Texans.
This is my time of year.
All right, so I have to ask you, in today's day and age of political correctness, you got to tell our viewers, what's up with the Texans Chick? I'm assuming it's a little bit of self-deprecation.
It's actually an accident. The Texans used to have an ultimate fan contest, and I showed up the first day for it because I didn't know anyone who loved the Texans as much as I did. So I show up and they go, "What's your nickname?" I'm like, "I guess I'm that chick that likes the Texans." So I wrote Texans Chick down, and I was a moderator for various message boards, and I just used that handle because people knew me by that. And then I guess it was 2006, I started writing for the Houston Chronicle. And I didn't want to use my name because I was kind of shy about it. And they go, "You have to use your name," but they used Texans Chick in the header.
Right.
And eventually that was just what it was. But if I knew I was going to be writing this long about football, maybe I would have picked something else, but it was a complete accident.
Well, you beat me to it because that was the next question. How'd you lead up into it? Well, enough with the pleasantries. All right, thoughts on the Texans game, big win. Give me your thoughts on how it came about.
Well, you know, I think if you play any game, let's say 100 times, you'd have 100 different results. I mean, the Texans, in this case, you pretty much saw on both sides of the ball, special teams, you would think that they were a better team than the Dolphins. But there are no directional teams in the NFL. A plus 10-point favorite is really unusual in the NFL versus, let's say, college football. And it's not unusual to have slow starts for games. You know, if you looked at the strength of the Dolphins, they were like, I think last year they were near the top of the league on the fewest points allowed for the other side.
Right.
And the Dolphins are kind of underestimated because they've had so many years of just bad quarterback play, which kind of made their defense look worse than it is.
They had good defense.
Yeah, I mean, the strength of that team is their front seven. And so it was a close game until it wasn't a close game. I guess the word that head coach Gary Kubiak used for it is explosive, and it doesn't get any more explosive than what they were able to do at the end of the second half, or the first half.
Interesting you say that. In the first 24 minutes, I think the line was like, what, plus 12? Right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're thinking, we're not going to get that. And then in 3 minutes,
It blew up.
Right. What did you expect that to turn around that way? I mean, that
No.
quickly?
I mean, that's why NFL football is the best reality programming in the world, because you can't predict a lot of the results. If you look at the first week of games, there's a lot of teams that were expected to be great that weren't great. Like, look, who predicted the Jets to put up that many points?
Who predicted the Redskins to? Yeah.
Well, the Saints' defense is a little
I know,
sketchy.
But just the Texans never seem to be able to pull it off over there.
Well, you know. We'll
so
see.
what worries you about the Texans going forward? Obviously, I think you've got the half glass empty happy fans, and then the other ones that are half full.
Well, I mean, everybody tries to manage expectations, but, you know, getting wins in the NFL is not easy. And really, when you look at who the Super Bowl winners are, a lot of it has to do with who gets momentum and hot at the right moment, and who has injury luck. I mean, it's amazing that the Texans were able to do what they were able to do with a backup rookie quarterback. I mean, that just doesn't happen. You know, the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl, they had all sorts of injuries the last time around, but in a key way, Aaron Rodgers only missed one game because of a concussion. Had he missed more games, they're not going to the Super Bowl. So it's all about getting that momentum at the right time. And if you look at the Texans, they are built to be a competitive NFL team. They were the most balanced team in the NFL last year when you look offense, defense, and special teams. And that's even taking into account that they had some issues, you know, injury issues at some key spots. You know, you have to be pretty optimistic about the Texans this year, I think.
And I guess you alluded to that. It's obviously their depth is still there compared to probably other teams.
Well, you know, you like their depth compared to some other teams, but it's not like what they had last year because they've moved some people that were backups from in the offensive line to the right side of the line, and you don't have D'Amico Ryans there anymore because like this year, one of my big concerns is that inside linebacker. If Brian Cushing gets hurt, who's the backup?
Yeah. What we've asked a lot of folks who came through here. What's up with the running game?
I think part of that is, first of all, we have to give the front seven of the Dolphins some credit. That is a good group of players that is not really respected because just the Dolphins have had bad quarterback play. I also think that part of it is that it's just early in the year that it takes a while for a new offensive line to gel. The good news for Texan fans is they know what they want to do on offense. They have a very experienced offensive line coach. And the offensive coordinator is basically the person that was behind all those good running attacks for the Denver Broncos. So if you know that you have good coaching there and you know that they've done it before, you have to be optimistic for the future. And they happen to score 2 rushing touchdowns, so that's not bad.
Yeah. Let me take you outside of your sphere. AFC versus NFC. What do you see? Who do you see emerging in the end? It's very early, but
yeah, it's so early. I mean, it was pretty shocking to see the results in the 49ers versus Packers game on the NFC side because the 49ers looked really good. Although part of it is, if you looked at the officiating, they were really letting the 49ers secondary kind of put the wood on the Packers some. I mean, you have to look at those two teams as teams that will be competitive at the end. You know, the Eagles are a question mark. They have so much talent there, but kind of inconsistency at the quarterback position. I like a lot of the AFC teams. There's so many teams that have a chance if they are, if they have the momentum at the right time of the season.
Got you. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I wanted to ask you a couple of more questions, but I guess we'll have to wait for a different time. This is it for us right now. I appreciate you coming in. Again,
anytime. It's
a long season. Would love to have you back in the studio. And on that note, I guess it's a done deal. She's going to come back again. And Texans Chick here. I'm Bogdan. Back to you, Jason Dude.
Always love to get a fan's perspective on things, especially when it comes to our own Houston Texans. And we hope to bring you more Stephanie throughout the season. Now, college football is up next, where the good, the bad, and the beyond ugly will once again take center stage. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.